Apple is making some shocking changes to the iPhone 15 that you are probably gonna hate. But what you are gonna like is the top secret iPhone master plan that just leaked and reveals all of the big changes that Apple is set to make the iPhone exciting again. So in this video, I'm breaking down all the new big leaks, basically revealing Apple's iPhone master plan for the iPhone 15, iPhone 16, iPhone 17. Let me tell you about those changes, why you should get excited, and sort of answer the big question, should you be excited for the iPhone 15? Is it gonna be sort of living up to the hype? Or is it gonna be boring and has Apple sort of lost their way? Let's be honest, when we first heard about the iPhone 15, sort of this time last year, things were looking really exciting. We assumed Apple was working on a totally new design, new materials, new ports, new cameras, and that the iPhone 15 would make the latest Android phone look like a kid's toy. But that's not exactly how things played out. While the iPhone 15 won't be getting a lot of the big changes that were originally sort of leaked last year, it is set to get some big changes that should sort of change the way you use your phone every single day, specifically a couple of big design changes that are going to change the look and feel of the phone for the first time in years. For example, the high-end iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max are finally going to ditch stainless steel for titanium this year. That's the new high-end material that Apple uses on other products, like the Apple Watch Ultra, for example. And when you compare it to stainless steel, titanium should actually make these phones lighter, but can be more prone to scratches. At least that's what Google tells me, because I'm not an expert in this field. One of the other big visual changes this year is that Apple is finally bringing the dynamic island to every single iPhone 15 model. So it's not going to be reserved just for the 15 Pros. And this is a big deal for a couple of big reasons. One is that it is nice to see Apple sort of bring some pro-level features down the line to the cheaper, less expensive iPhones, even though ProMotion, always on display, triple cameras, those are still reserved for the pros. But hey, dynamic island is going to come to every model. And also, this officially ends the reign of the notch. Since the iPhone back in 2017, we had the notch. We got a little bit of a smaller notch with the iPhone 13, but that difference really wasn't noticeable. But now the notch is officially gone on the main iPhone lineup. We're going with the dynamic island. And yeah, gonna be a bit of a facelift for every model this year. Now, I will say though, day to day, how big of a difference this really makes is gonna depend on the apps you use. I, for one, think the dynamic island is fine and all, but I don't have any apps that like really utilize it well on a day-to-day basis. So for me, it's more of a gimmick than it actually is useful. Nice to get a little bit more screen real estate back on the top of your phone, but that's sort of it. I'm not super jazzed on it, so maybe your thoughts and opinions are different. Let me know down below. Nice to see the notch finally go away, but if this is gonna be revolutionary, I don't really think so, but hey, that's just me. Aside from that, one of the other visual changes coming to the 15 line is gonna be a new design. Kinda, sort of, depending on which rumors you believe. Now, the main look of the iPhone 15 series is gonna look really similar to the iPhone 14 and the iPhone 13. We're not gonna get that big iPhone 4 style redesign that was rumored a couple of years ago. That ain't happening, but we might get a slight change on the iPhone 15 Pro phones. These might actually have some of, if not the thinnest bezels on the market. So you're gonna get ultra thin bezels around the display on the 15 Pro. And also the edges of these phones might be curved with a flat back and not sort of boxy like what we've got right now. So it might look something like this, a little more reminiscent to the iPhone 5C, should change the look and feel of the phone in the hand, but it's not gonna be some big drastic redesign. So a small visual change, probably only on the 15 Pros. And then, of course, the two other big controversial changes coming to the iPhone 15 is the switch away from Lightning over to USB-C. Thumbs up for that, but thumbs down because of some big caveats. And also, Apple is going all out and removing every single physical button on the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max. As far as the switch to USB-C is concerned, I, for one, am all in on this. I love USB-C. I'm all in for one port to rule them all. But what we're hearing right now is that Apple is going to give us USB-C, but they're gonna lock down the functionality depending on the cable, charging brick, and phone you buy. So one of the rumors right now is that if you want the fastest USB data transfer speeds possible, you want Thunderbolt-esque speeds, you're gonna have to go with the iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max, because those are gonna be the ones with the fastest data transfer speeds. And if you want the fastest charging speeds, you may have to buy a MFI certified Apple charging cable and charging brick to get the fastest speeds possible for charging as well. So USB-C is coming, but with some major caveats, and Apple might be looking to squeeze a little bit more money out of you to buy those special cables and charging bricks if you want the full power of that USB-C port on your iPhone 15. And like I mentioned, for whatever reason, Apple is on a mission to remove every single physical button on the iPhone, and they will be removing it now on the 15 Pros. The volume buttons, the individual buttons, will be going away, and instead it looks like we're gonna get some sort of like unified button, like gesture strip. So you'll be able to do volume up and volume down on here, and maybe this turns into like a gesture area that you could do other things on. That'd be cool. And then the very iconic iPhone mute switch that has been on the iPhone since that OG model that launched in 2007 will be going away and replaced by a new touch-sensitive button. Obviously, one of the big downsides here is that you can't like look at your phone and see if it's muted or not just by looking at it. But one of the good things here is that this could move to a programmable button that does more than just mute or unmute your phone. There are some rumors right now that maybe Apple uses this like the action button on the Apple Watch Ultra and allows you to program different things with this one button. So maybe you can press it once to mute and unmute. Maybe you can long press it to do other things. Maybe you can customize it in settings. Little unclear as of right now, but this could be cool and give a little bit more functionality to your Pro end iPhone. So that's what we kind of know about the iPhone 15 on the surface with like visual changes. And while that's fine and all, I think a lot of us are expecting or hoping for some bigger changes, like some really big redesign, or bringing back Touch ID under the display, or better yet, sort of removing the dynamic island and giving us no notch, no cutout, no nothing, just an all-screen iPhone. When can we actually see this stuff come to future iPhone models? Good news here, we do actually now have a bit of a timeline. In terms of the iPhone 17 series coming in 2 years in 2025, a couple of big things happening with these phones. One is that on the iPhone 17 Pro, this phone will actually finally ditch the dynamic island and is just gonna have a single cutout for the selfie camera on the front of the phone. Also, this is gonna be the year with the iPhone 17 that Apple finally brings ProMotion to every single iPhone model and not just reserving it for the higher end Pros. And while this is great, I do have a couple of questions. One is, why does it take 2 more years to bring 120 Hertz to non-Pro phones? That sort of seems crazy to me. You can't get anything better than 60. And also, I'd love to see the dynamic island go away, and I'm all in for like a smaller cutout, but even in 2 years, it seems like a selfie camera cutout is gonna be a bit outdated because we've already got that on plenty of different Android phones as of right now. Looking a little more closer to the next 12 to 18 months or so, what about iPhone 16? Well, this could be the year with the iPhone 16 that Apple finally gives us a portless iPhone. Can you believe it? They give us USB-C, then remove it and go portless? That could happen. And also, we have heard some rumors that the iPhone 16 series could introduce the iPhone 16 Ultra. This would be an even more high-end, more expensive iPhone above the Pro Max that have maybe a new design, a bigger battery, bigger display, better processor, and be the new flagship iPhone to rule them all. As for some of the other big rumors sort of in line with Apple's iPhone master plan, we do know they are still working on a folding iPhone. A folding iPhone is in the works, but what we're actually hearing right now is that we might see a folding iPad before we see a folding iPhone, and even that is probably still 2 to 3 years away. And what's also a few years away is under-display Touch ID. We've heard that Apple has been on and off about this for a while. They're still working on it. The technology seems to be there, but for whatever reason, this is still probably at least 2 to 3 years away. So seems like Face ID is going to be the only thing we've got on our iPhone for the foreseeable future. Maybe Touch ID makes its comeback, but it's gonna be a hot minute before that happens. So what are your thoughts on the iPhone 15? Do you think this is gonna be an exciting upgrade? Are you pumped for it? Are you ready to buy it? Your thoughts on the iPhone master plan? Do you think Apple is making enough changes? Are they doing too little? Let me know your thoughts on all this stuff down below. And if you think Apple is doing things at the right pace, or if they should sort of speed things up a bit and give us some bigger upgrades, let me know in the comments down below. As always, I appreciate you guys watching these videos. Thank you so much for your support. I'm Robert Rosenfeld, and I'll see you all, I don't know what this is, but I'm doing hand gestures apparently, as I always do. I'll see you all in the next one.